This is a CBS 42 special report.
That's Bolden who came in motion, got it in the flat, and got a touchdown. Slade Bolden dives into the end zone for his very first career touchdown.
So just when Ohio State cut it to 14 late in the third quarter, Alabama says not so fast. Slade Bolden's touchdown put the Crimson Tide up 21, and that's all she wrote in Miami Gardens. Alabama wins another national championship. Count them. That's 18. The final score in Miami, Alabama 52, Ohio State 24. And Sherry, Ohio State just didn't have the firepower to hang with Alabama.
Tide fans saying how sweet it is. Number 18. Lots of excitement from Miami to Tuscaloosa. There's a live look at Nick Saban, and now the Tuscaloosa Strip, where fans just started streaming out there, celebrating. Lots of people. We could see it with about a minute left in the game, and that crowd just grew and grew. And now you see Tuscaloosa police there letting them know that they don't need to be out there celebrating. They said they didn't want to do that.
That's
CBS
right.
42 has been your official home, though, for SEC football all season long. And, of course, that ends tonight with the 6th national championship for Nick Saban.
That's right, and the Crimson Tide now since 2009. We welcome you into our special team coverage. I'm Art Franklin.
And I'm Sherry Jackson. A lot to get to tonight, bringing you all of Saban's postgame press conference. That's as soon as he steps up to the podium. We will break away. That'll be happening in the next few minutes.
That should, and it's a historic win for Coach Saban. It's his 6th with the Alabama Crimson Tide, his 7th overall as head coach. You may remember he also won the 2003 BCS National Championship. That was with LSU. That win breaks his tie with Bear Bryant for the most championships in college football history. The Saban era has been one of dominance. 6 titles since he arrived in Bama are triple the number of the next 2 teams on the list.
Both LSU and Clemson have 2 championships apiece in that span, and you could tell after the game how proud Nick Saban was of this team.
Well, to me, this is the ultimate team. All these guys bought into everything they needed to do to be the best players that they could be. There's more togetherness on this team than almost any team that we've ever had. And they had to overcome and persevere so much adversity through this season, and they've done it magnificently. And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning a national championship.
You can hear the emotion in his voice. CBS 42 has team coverage tonight as we wait for Nick Saban to take the podium. Drew Carter, Chris Brees, live outside Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida.
And Malik Rankin is at the Strip in Tuscaloosa, but we begin in studio with Simone Eli breaking down what happened in this exciting game.
Yeah, Art and Sherry, we knew coming into this matchup that we were going to see a lot of points on the board. Ohio State averages more than 43 a game, Bama nearly 50 throughout this season, and the usual offensive weapons were on full display early on for the Tide. Let's head out to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. A #1 seed has only won a national championship once. That was LSU last year. Injured Tide offensive lineman Landon Dickerson out at midfield doing the coin toss. First play from scrimmage, handoff goes to Buckeyes running back Trey Sermon. He's been dominant the past 2 games, but unfortunately is injured on this first play of the game, forced to go to the locker room. He would not return. A huge loss for the Buckeyes. Meanwhile, first Tide offensive drive. How about this? Mac Jones scrambles. The shuffle pass goes to none other than Jalen Waddle. Back from that fractured ankle he suffered in October. That play would extend the Bama drive. Couple minutes later, handoff to Najee Harris. He's in for the 1-yard score, and it's 7-0. Buckeyes, though, not going away. Sermon out. Master Teague in for the 8-yard touchdown run. Buckeyes respond to tie it up 7-all. Alabama's first drive ended in a touchdown. The second drive would as well. Sark getting it done. This time Jones to Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner, in from 5 yards. Tide back on top, 14-7. But credit the Buckeyes early on. They tied the game again, however, not for long. 3 minutes to play in the first. Mac on the throwback pass to Najee Harris. He scrambles. He's into the end zone. 22 hard to stop. Harris scores. Bama leads at 21-14. Just before half now, Jones in the pocket, looking long, airs it out to the Heisman winner again. Devontae Smith, 42 yards to the house. Smitty had 12 receptions in the first half, the most in any college football playoff national championship game. Alabama on top 35-17 at the break. Second half now, nobody wants to see this right here. DeVonta Smith attempting to catch a pass, gets tackled by the Buckeyes defender. He's then on the sideline getting checked out by the medical staff. He would go into the tent for more than 20 minutes and eventually head to the locker room. He did not return to the game. Late in the third quarter now, defense stepping up big for the Tide. Ohio State facing a 4th and short. How about Christian Barmore making a big tackle for loss to turn the ball over on downs, and Alabama would capitalize on the turnover. Najee Harris in from 1 yard out, all but seals the deal at that point, 52-24, and that would be your final score. Alabama wins it. A huge win for the Crimson Tide. DeVonta Smith, 12 catches, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. All of that came in the first half. Let's send it out now to Chris Brees and Drew Carter, who saw all the action from Miami's Hard Rock Stadium, guys.
Simone, it's an indictment of what this program under Nick Saban has always been about. These guys want to win a championship so desperately. Najee Harris, Alex Leatherwood, DeVonta Smith, Dylan Moses, they all came back for this one reason. That was the only reason why. You could see it in their play not only tonight, the entire season.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, it was purely a team for Alabama. And I think that's why we saw the raw emotion from Nick Saban, not just tonight, but after they won the SEC championship, after they beat Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl, and then again tonight here at Hard Rock Stadium. I think it's fair to say that this is one of Nick Saban's favorite teams. Maybe it's tied for first. Maybe it is alone in first place. You could just see how much you love these guys. And I think a big reason why is what you just said. They sacrificed for the team. Look at Jalen Waddle. I mean, the guy was hobbling around out there on one leg, and he still made a couple of plays. I mean, this was a team-first team for Alabama, and it showed they just dominated everyone.
We have so much more to get to, but Nick Saban is live at the podium. We'll take it right now.
You'll go ahead and give that to Coach, and then we'll mute your microphone while he's answering. Coach, again, congratulations. Please give us a brief opening statement.
Thank you. Well, I'm just so proud of our team for what they've accomplished all season long, the adversity that they had to overcome, the togetherness that they have as a group, the way they've supported one another, and to go undefeated, win 11 SEC games and win the national championship and beat 2 fine teams in Notre Dame and Ohio State. I'll tell you how proud I am of that. And we, a lot of guys, played not absolutely 100% because we would be beat up, but showed a lot of guts and a lot of grit out there in terms of the way they competed and the way they performed. I think it was a fantastic offensive performance by Mack and Smitty and the whole group. The offensive line has done a great job all year long. So really just can't say enough and can't really put it into words in terms of how proud I am of this group, this team, because they are the ultimate team.
Thank you. We'll take our first question from Dennis Dodd.
Nick, congratulations. I know you don't like to compare teams, but both of your undefeated teams really different offensively, at least, and probably defensively. I wonder if you could compare the two and what it's like now to have another undefeated team.
Well, I think especially in this year, with all the disruptions, no spring practice, really no summer ball of all or any sort, develop players, no games where you could play other players and develop players on the team. I think this is based on the circumstances. This team has really accomplished a lot to be able to do what they did. We have great leadership on this team, really good players that are the best people on the team. And I think it's always fun to coach when the best players on your team are the best people. And the other undefeated team we had great people, great players, and they were a great team too. I think ball has changed. It's a little more wide open, a little more spread. And this team has adapted, and we've changed with it. Our coaches did an outstanding job with this team all year long. And I'm just proud of our whole organization and everybody who contributes to it for what we're able to accomplish.
We'll take our next question from Lane Higgins.
Congratulations, Coach Saban. I wanted to ask about Smitty and Najee, who are two of your players that set single-season records for receiving and rushing yards. And it seems like their performance this year is largely a product of kind of your shift in offensive scheme in the last few years. So I was wondering if you could kind of explain how much of a difference you think your change in philosophy played in, getting those two players to have the games that they did and the seasons that they did.
Well, I think it had a significant difference. We've gradually changed through the years to be more spread oriented, but still keep pro style drop back concepts with, our offense, legitimate play action passes. So this whole sort of blend of all these things and creating balance to be able to run, make explosive plays, with action passes that complement the runs and be able to throw RPOs to, count people in the box a lot. We threw a lot of RPOs tonight on a lot of those slants and glances, and they had 8 guys in the box or one more than we could block, and you're one-on-one with the corner. So Mac does a great job of executing it. Smitty obviously had a great half. And Najee has played well all year long and had some tough yards to get out there tonight. We knew it would be tough running against these guys the way they play, and we knew we'd have to throw the ball to win, and we did it effectively.
We'll go next to John Zenor.
Yeah, Nick, what kind of job did Sark do finding a way to get playmakers in position to always to make plays? It seemed like Smitty can always get open.
Fabulous job. Yeah, he's done a fabulous job all year long. He's got a great plan, does a great job preparing the players, and does a really good job of calling the game. And, knows what the other team is doing, knows how to attack it, knows where to put the players to put them in position to be able to make those plays against what the other team is doing. And he's just done a fantastic job this year. I can't even tell you, can't even put it into words what a great job he's done and how much confidence the players have, in the plan and the execution. And, he's really helped Mac as well, I think. Mac had a phenomenal year. So our offense was really the key to the success of this team. We weren't, we're okay defensive team, not a great defensive team. We played well enough and got enough stops, but the offense was dynamic, and that's what made the difference.
Take our next question from Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, just wondering, you had a couple teams that 2016, 2018 that came close to winning, going undefeated, finishing the job. This team actually did it. What's the legacy, do you think, of this team that was able to finish the undefeated season?
Well, to me, this team accomplished more almost than any team. No disrespect to any other teams that we had or any championship teams, but this team won 11 SEC games. No other team has done that. They won the SEC and went undefeated in the SEC. And then they beat 2 great teams in the playoffs with no break in between. This is our 5th game in a row, from LSU to Arkansas to Florida to Notre Dame to here, and played 13 games, went undefeated with all the disruption that we had in this season. I think there's quite a bit to write about when it comes to a legacy of a team.
Take our next question from Bill Bender.
Coach, you touched on it, but what does it mean, one, to have guys like Mac, Jalen, even Landon at the end got through the injuries you were out? And the second part, you were asked about Bear Bryant afterward. What does it mean to you to continually be compared to a coach with his legacy?
Well, I don't think anybody really compared to Coach Bryant. In the era that he coached and the era that he won, he won a lot of different ways. He won throwing it, he won running a wishbone, he won it running conventional. offensive formations, and, his legacy lasted, over a long, long period of time. And, we all have to adjust with the times. Obviously, things are a little different now. The challenges are a little bit different with this, the spread offense and the things that make it more difficult, I think, to play good defense in this day and age. But I think Coach Bryant is, sort of a class of his own in terms of what he was able to accomplish, what his record is, and the longevity that he had and the tradition that he established. If it wasn't for Coach Bryant, we would never be able to do what we did. He's the one that made Alabama and the tradition at Alabama a place where lots of players wanted to come. And we've been able to build on that with great support. And his family has always supported us in a tremendous way that has helped us have the success that we have. But that tradition that he established, that's a big part of that.
Take our next question from Andrea Adelson.
Nick, as a follow-up to that and some of the stuff you've already touched
I can't
on.
hear.
Andrea, we can't hear you, so let's get that fixed and we will transition to Mike Rodak.
Nick, how difficult was it to see Davante go down in the second half there, just after the season that he's had, and just how is he doing as far as his hand after the game?
Well, he really dislocated his finger. I told somebody after the game, I said, you're the only player that I know that missed a whole half because of your finger sitting. But they couldn't get it it was dislocated and they couldn't get it back in. And if they'd have got it back in, he would have been fine. And he actually wanted to win and play, and we just didn't allow him to. But he's a great competitor. I heard somebody say he set some kind of record in the first half of the game. Heavens knows what he'd have done if he'd have played the whole game. But, you're talking about the ultimate warrior and the ultimate competitor. And, I'm so happy for him that he was recognized as the best player in college football, because I don't think anybody's done more for their team than he has for our team.
Coach, thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it. And again, congratulations on the national title.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Devontae Smith dislocates his finger. Just another example. Dickerson comes out for the last snap. Jalen Waddle had no business playing. And then Devontae Smith, the man so smooth all year long. I mean, you think about him playing in the second half, he could have easily had 300 yards, easily.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe even more than that. He goes for 12, 215, and 3 touchdowns in the first half. And Chris, you run out of superlatives for this guy, and the only thing I can say about him at this point is every week he still wows us. How do you do that when you're already the best player in college football, when you've already won every major award, and he still makes jaws drop today?
You do it because he's been doing it all career long. Why has nobody recognized it? Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, all of these guys he had to share touches with. Yeah. Now it's all his show, and we saw the whole thing, and nobody could stop him.
And Chris, we just have to mention the storybook career for Devontae Smith. When was everyone introduced to him? National championship game as a freshman, 2nd and 26. He says goodbye to everyone after winning the Heisman by popping off for 12 for 215 and 3 in the first half in the national championship as a senior. It's maybe the greatest career storybook start to finish of all time.
And what does it say about his character? He has always maintained, he does not want to be known for that touchdown pass on 2nd and 26. He wants to have a much better career than everybody wanted to give him credit for. You saw all these awards, 2 national championships, and now Devontae Smith. All of these pros, you're seeing these pro football players tweeting that he is the best receiver of all time.
Yeah, and Devontae Smith is actually at the podium now. We will take that live. Let's hear from the best player in college football.
Take our next question from Stephen Smith.
Devontae, congratulations to you on this, but watching your teammate Jalen Waddle battle and get back on there on that field tonight, talk about just his toughness and wanting to be out there with you guys.
It just shows the commitment and how much he loved his team. Him just wanting to be out there and just doing what he can, just giving us everything he got. And that was just the message. Just give us what you got and we'll take anything.
Take our next question from Dan Wolken. Okay, we're having some technical difficulties.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Devontae, from a year ago to now, what's the biggest difference in Mac Jones that enabled him to have a performance like this on this stage?
Just his commitment, his dedication to everything. Him just getting in the film room, getting prepared for moments like this. I don't think nobody prepared as hard as him on this team, just with everything that he's done.
Take our next question from Pat Forty.
Yes, Devontae, I'm wondering now the game's over, what your reaction was to Shaun Wade saying he wanted to cover you and how you think that matchup went.
Well, I mean, I just practiced hard all week, just worked and just came to do my job, and it just worked out well for me and the team.
Well, tonight's championship has been a defining moment for Nick Saban. You're looking at his previous 6 titles. All of it started back in 2003 when he won the BCS championship with LSU. His next 5 with Alabama. Number 6 with the Tide coming tonight. We'll dig a little deeper into Nick Saban's legacy coming up. So the 6 championships for Alabama fans in Tuscaloosa in the past 12 seasons. Celebration never gets old in what many folks there call Titletown. Malik Rankin is live on the Strip there in T-Town with the excitement. Malik, we saw those fans streaming out.
Mom! Good evening, Sherry. There's a ton of people out here now. Tuscaloosa police officers are inching their vehicles forward, trying to help some of these crowds disperse from the area. And when I spoke with the Tuscaloosa police chief earlier this evening, they told me that there were no citations issued for businesses. Here, we'll have you step aside so that we can show the scene here. Thank you so much. But no citations issued, but there were a couple of arrests for public intoxication. Taking a look now at some video we shot earlier tonight showing the long lines in the area here. Some people waiting hours to get inside the bars here. And as I had mentioned, no citations issued for these businesses. Bars had to remain at half capacity. Restaurants could be at full capacity. And right now, police are working. There's about a dozen officers in this area near me trying to get crowds to head home and call it a night. But clearly, Alabama fans extremely excited for the win tonight. Live in Tuscaloosa, I'm Malik Rankin, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
All right, Malik, thanks a lot. With Simone Eli now, and we talk about Nick Saban, and, you know, watching him in the press conference there, he is cool as the other side of the pillow, but his legacy, you've got to look at it now and compare it to what we've seen in the past. He's got to be the best ever.
I mean, absolutely. And of course, he's going to get asked the question, you know, about Bear Bryant and passing Bear Bryant. But when you look at the numbers, like you said, it truly is amazing. 7 total championships for Coach Saban. That's the most all time. But tonight's have a little extra meaning. It ties him with Bear Bryant for the most championships at Alabama, both with 6. And check this out, through their first 14 seasons in Tuscaloosa, Saban has the edge over the Bear, a better winning percentage, more AP top 5 finishes, 2 more SEC titles, and after tonight, 3 more national titles. And let's send things back out now to Miami, where we find Chris and Drew. And guys, of course, Saban was asked about this, but he was very humble, said none of it could have ever been accomplished if it weren't for what Bear Bryant did in the past in getting good players to come to Tuscaloosa.
And it's been going on since Bear Bryant. It's all been about recruiting. It doesn't matter. Modern day recruiting may be different than it was back in Bear Bryant's day. Bear Bryant always got the best players. Nick Saban's always getting the best players. That's why they're both the best of all time. Developing those players goes on another level. Nick Saban, I don't care what blasphemy is going to come out of my mouth right now. Objectively, you have to say he's the greatest of all time, because Bear Bryant had so many years where he was up and down, up and down. Nick Saban's down years are 2 losses. I'm serious.
Last year, I mean, it was one of the worst years that Saban has had at Alabama. I just got to get this off my chest before we dive any deeper into this. Can we just enjoy this for like 5? I know it's our job. I know it's our job to break this down, but let's just let Saban enjoy it before he talks about legacy and he talks about Bear Bryant. Is he better than or is he not better than?
When's he retiring?
It's okay. It's okay to just enjoy it for one night. I mean, 24-hour rule. Let's apply that to ourselves right now. But as I say that, I'm going to make this point. I do think Saban is the greatest of all time. I would have said that before tonight, honestly, because you look at what he's done. You mentioned Chris, Bear Bryant was a little more of a roller coaster. Saban, even back to his LSU days, he's matched Bear Bryant's total with the 6 championships and now 7, and he did it in less than 2 decades. Now he's got the 6 at Alabama. And the recruiting is different. I mean, Bear Bryant, yes, he got the players to fit his system, but he took small guys and toughened them because you could do that in the 60s and 70s.
You could have a linebacker who was 200 pounds.
Exactly. Nowadays, you can't do that. You can't take a 2-star. I don't care how good the process is in Tuscaloosa. You're not winning like this. So for Nick Saban, he's great at recruiting. He's got the process. The whole package, he's the greatest coach of all time.
We can put it to bed now. He's past Bear. No more to talk about.
I think it's over.
Can he win another title before he retires? I think a lot of people will say yes. And as long as he keeps having defenses like he's had over the years, and one reason why this year was so impressive, because you look at what happened last year. Everybody was dogging this defense. And then the beginning of this year, you give up 45 to Ole Miss, and everyone's like, oh, here we go again. But the night and day turnaround, yes, Justin Fields is banged up. Trey Sermon was out. But Chris Olave did nothing on Patrick Surtain tonight.
And here's one of the reasons, Chris, why that defense really figured it out down the stretch is Patrick Surtain just started erasing half the field. I mean, if you put your best wide receiver on Surtain's side of the field, he just wasn't going to do anything. Chris Olave, coming into this game this season, his season low in catches was 5, his season low in yards was 64. Before the fourth quarter, which was just garbage time, Olave had 3 catches for barely 30 yards.
As we go back to the studio, one final thought here. It's amazing to think about the talent gap between the 2 best teams in the country. Yeah, they're down 2 D linemen. Trey Sermon goes out, Fields is hurt, we know that.
Yeah.
But none of that had anything to do with how dominant Alabama was on defense. You're looking at Alabama being up here, Ohio State being here, and then where is everybody else?
Seriously.
It's kind of scary.
I mean, Ohio State just crushed Clemson in the semifinal. That was the team we thought could compete with Alabama. No one could this year. We'll see if that changes next year, but this season, Alabama just miles ahead of everyone else.
I'll go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, guys, that's one of the reasons they thought that this game would be much closer. This is a live look at the Strip where they are still reveling in it, even though police are there clearing that area where people were told they could not celebrate. They came out anyway to celebrate the Tide's big number 18. Of course, this means big money for Central Alabama businesses.
Yeah, and some of those businesses extending their store hours tonight for fans who are eager to get some of that fresh championship gear, right? And one of those places over in Hoover at Academy Sports and Outdoors, that store already stocked with tons of gear. All that, as you can see, they're being snatched off the shelves right now. It's going pretty quickly as those fans waited to get that championship gear. Store already full right now, Sherry, with those fans getting, and let's get a good look at that championship shirt now for number 18.
That's all I can make out is number 18. I can't see any of what's on the shirt. These people socially distanced, though. They're waiting patiently to get their shirts. A big congratulations to the Crimson Tide on sweet number 18. Fans not only getting T-shirts, they're getting hats. They're getting all the garb, maybe shopping for some other folks, too. I like that white hat.
Yeah, maybe somebody can pick up something for you. But like they said, the talent was just overwhelming at Alabama. Nobody even close to them, as you saw them just really dispatch with Ohio State tonight. That's exactly what fans were hoping, so that they can pick up another shirt to add to that gear that they already have.
Our continuing team coverage of Alabama's national championship win continues tomorrow, so make sure to tune in to the CBS 42 Morning News for a complete game breakdown.
And again, congratulations to the Alabama Crimson Tide winning another national championship. Count them now, 18-7 for Nick Saban.
We will have that championship trophy presentation and much more on CBS42.com.
Thanks for hanging with us, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
This has been a CBS 42 special report. Local coverage you can count on.